Good day, everybody. Here, this 14th of March. I'm here in the capital city of Minsk, outside of a Burger King. Well, there's a mall here too. It's not one of the major malls of Minsk. There are plenty of malls here, all kinds of malls, shopping malls. It's a little bit of a loud area because not too far from here is a busy road, as you see. And this is the metro entrance exit. Yeah, since it's Monday 14th, it's a lot of the younger people are out working and all. So you see a lot of old people around. Well, there's probably a lot of old people here anyway. A lot of young people and old. Maybe some of the middle ages. I don't know if there's that many here in Minsk or not. Or Belarus in general. A lot of older people. Oh, here's some other fast food places. This is, as you see, what is it? KFC, Domino's Pizza. No. Then there's a pharmacy. I'm going to hold this a little bit further away. I don't have my stick here. This some snow and water and mud. I think they call it Rasputnitsa, but there's a bus made right by where I live. So here's another side of the shopping mall, just so you can see what it looks like here. Okay, should go to a little bit of a quieter place. Tell you what I wanted to talk about in the news. And of course the big news in the world right now is this collapse of the Silicon Valley Bank. And then there's another bank. What was that bank? I don't know. Another bank that collapsed, and then there's a danger of other banks collapsing. And then there's a lot of losses from a lot of other banks, American banks. And you can go into foreign banks as well, such as banks located in Germany, I guess India, because this bank, this Silicon Valley Bank, apparently it, had a lot of exposure into the tech, business, and caused some trouble. And India is, advancing with high technologies and things, so. Yeah, so that's not going too well for them. A lot of countries, Ireland. Anyway, we'll get into that in a moment here. Look, here's I guess it's a fitness studio. Sport Family. Okay, anyway, so I'll talk about this. The FDIC, can't remember what that stands for, Federal Deposit Insurance Company or something like that. It's supposed to insure people's money. But something that a lot of vloggers haven't been mentioning is that there was a change in laws in 2007. And I guess what this change means is when you put your money in the bank, you are no longer somebody that's using the bank and depositing in that way. You are a shareholder. So you're a shareholder. You're an uninsured shareholder in the bank. And the FDIC is supposed to protect a lot of people up to $100,000. And it turns out that this bank, supposedly Joe Biden, is saying that he is, Joe Biden or the Treasury, FDIC, who knows, all these jokers. They're insuring people's deposits up to $250,000 from this Silicon Valley Bank. And I say supposedly, because you know how things work out like that. Remember the Clintons when they pledged, I don't know how many, they were going to build, how many houses when this earthquake happened in in Haiti. They're supposed to build a bunch of houses and all sorts of money. Denmark gave them $20 million and all. And then it turns out that they put in some money into Haiti from all these donations, nothing near what they really collected. And what they did, I think they built 5 homes instead of 500 homes, new homes for those affected by that earthquake. And they built a luxury resort. And of course it created some jobs from Haitians, washing the bedclothes and serving the meals and all that sort of thing. Unfortunately, it wasn't anything like what they promised. And that's going to probably be the same here, but you'll never hear about it. There's so many promises that are made and they're never kept. No surprise. But anyway, this new bank, they made this new bank. This other one is collapsed. Oh, here's a kitty, a nice, beautiful kitty. I love black cats. It's a black cat. Let's see if I can show it to you here. I'm here delaying getting into the news, getting all these distractions. Let me see if he's a friendly guy. Oh no, running away. Just waiting and see if I have any food for it. Whenever I have this camera and I'm walking around, I don't have any cat food, unfortunately. So anyway, this new bank, what they did is they collapsed this old bank, this Silicon Valley Bank, and then they created a new bank. And then in that new bank, I believe, what is it called? It's called the DINBSC, which is, what do they call it here? The Deposit Insurance National Bank of Santa Clara. And of course, the Silicon Valley Bank people will stay on for 45 days. And then, of course, their jobs are gone. And, of course, they're going to liquidate those banks, too. The new bank is just set up there in order to take care of these loose ends, supposedly. And then, of course, in 45 days, that bank will also not exist. And, of course, those people are supposed to get their money back, $250,000. But anyway, coming up with this money that has all disappeared, from gambling, it's just like everything else, where all this money disappears all the time. And when the government promises to make good on it, which entails printing more money and printing more money, putting more money in the circulation, whether that is, if that's is real money or if that's electronic money, that kind of makes you wonder, think about what this digital currency that they're proposing is supposed to be. But anyway, putting more money into the system, by definition, that's called inflation. And prices going up is just a symptom of inflation. So when your prices are going up, somehow it resulted in more money going into the system. So the value of products, of course, like I say, it dilutes the value of some things because there's more free money floating around, and that sort of thing has been happening for quite a few years. But a lot of time you don't see the effects as much because the dollar is the world's reserve currency and it's spread all over the world, so it's taken a long period of time. And of course things have gotten worse when everybody was paid to sit home and not produce any products or get any services done, really, because of COVID. And then you have now this inflation coming because of this war in Ukraine, that the United States says whatever it takes, however long it takes, keep shoveling in more money, shoveling in more weapons, money. And, don't worry, the American taxpayer, actually, all taxpayers in the world are going to pay for it because everybody's tied to the US dollar. So don't worry, we'll all pay for it. And then you also have to remember when the Iraq war and the war in Afghanistan and all that. There's some helicopter, it's kind of loud. And it's not really rumors, I guess it's true, when you hear about these pallets full of money, that everybody's seeing. Everybody wondering a pallet full of money wrapped in plastic, huge pallet. Where does that go? It was also found out that the CEO of this bank, what do they call it? Silicon Valley Bank, his name is Greg Becker. He had sold or liquidated, or whatever you want to call it, $3.6 million of shares, his shares, who knows what, from that bank 2 weeks prior to the collapse of that bank. And then over the course of February, well, actually, how many weeks was that? But anyway, throughout February, a lot of the other higher officials in that bank have also been liquidating all their positions in that bank. So all throughout February. And so what a lot of the cause, apparently what they say the cause of all this is, and I believe that was just on Tucker Carlson as well, the real cause of this collapse is the raising of interest rates. So when the interest rates are going up, there's a whole process of that, making your bonds and things have less value. And of course, so in other words, you just got something that's worth less. That, us little guys, that happens to us all the time. It's happened to me. I don't know. Probably happened to a lot of you guys too, unless you're some Warren Buffett or something like that. But and then Elon Musk, he's been toying with the idea. Some people have suggested he just buy this Silicon Valley Bank or whatever. And of course, he's going to have to fire all the people and put some people in there that manage money a lot better. And then it's not really all their fault. It's playing fast and loose, and all these banks in America have been doing that for quite some time. And it's because of these actions by the United States government with interest rates and all that. Whole system is screwed up. Very, I don't know, shouldn't get into that, but it's reckless, as everybody says. Gambling casino with everybody's money. But they say the major banks, there's a lot of major banks in the United States, which includes JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Citigroup. And these people have lost just in the past, I don't know, in the recent past, $52 billion in value, measured at least starting from this year. So maybe in most of the time that's been happening in the past weeks, and yeah. And of course, a lot of venture capitalists have probably lost quite a bit as well, And then remember, they just had this, who's this Bankman-Fried guy with this cryptocurrency thing. I'll tell you what, I don't think I would be putting any money into most of these banks in America anyway today. And of course, this is going to be, felt all over the place, not just in the West, but probably maybe even in Belarus here. You never know, because a lot of these banks are all tied together globally. So if somebody loses, means somebody else is going to lose. And, but anyway, it's, as far as foreign countries that are concerned, apparently India was hit the worst with this, with this FTX thing. And Israel lost quite a bit too, because they're high in the tech industry. And Benjamin Netanyahu, just like in the United States, says, he's going to cover all the losses for all the Israelis that lost from there. And it makes you wonder when they're going to get around to saying, Putin did it, Putin, it's the Russians, Putin, the Russians did it. Somehow they're going to be at fault. Russia is at fault for everything. Because Iran, I don't know, who's the flavor of the week? It's Iran was a couple of years ago. Now Russia does everything. So I don't know. Belarus, they've never gotten around to saying that Belarus is the cause of all this. Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry, everything's fine. How many times have you heard that? There's not going to be any problem. So, and I think that was coming out of the First Republic Bank of San Francisco, and that's supposed to be in big trouble. They say that's going to be the next one that goes, but they said they got over $60 billion in assets that they can immediately borrow from. But even if they do, or even if they don't, and you can find out that when something becomes toxic, everybody kind of keeps their hands off of it. So you might not see anything after that. So you might not see that they're going to get this credit. And if you've also heard recently in the recent news too, there's this AUKUS, this thing about these submarines. that the UK especially and the United States are getting together and giving nuclear submarines or selling them over the next 2 years for Australia. And of course, this is to counter China. And they've come out publicly and said this is to counter China. But Joe Biden here has come and announced publicly that he's going to talk to Xi Jinping of China and tell him that it is not designed to counter China. So they're giving the submarines to Australia to counter China, but he's going to tell Xi Jinping that it's not done as a response to counter China. And he's going to say, here's the deal, man, here's the deal, you know. Yeah, Joe Biden, you know. Don't worry, it's in Joe Biden's hands, you know. And if not, Kamala Harris, she'll take care of it. You know how great these people are, you know. And other news, you know, there's Zelensky, and of course he's closing down Christianity for the most part. I think they're having their own little brand of Christianity, and I think they're even closing the Ukrainian Orthodox Christianity down. But there's I think it's a Russian Orthodox, and there's a very old and a very well-established and prestigious monastery, and it's called the Peshcherk, if I'm saying this right, Peshcherk Lavra Monastery, and I think it's in Kiev, and he's closing that down because they're Putin agents, you know. So the purges are still continuing in Ukraine, and of course, particularly anything around Zelensky. It's Putin, 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 you know, Putin spies, Putin agents everywhere. Yeah, great. But along with that, you know, I was going to say, well, I'll get into something else first. Somebody commented on one of my videos, and I think they might have taken the comment down. I'm not too sure, but it was an intelligent lady. She says she's an older lady. I don't know, but she's very intelligent, and she was saying something about one of my last videos. I was mentioning something about, and actually I didn't mention it, but it comes from Prigozhin from the Wagner Group, and he was saying, and I'm not saying that I said this, but I've been hearing, and it's a lot of time and I just mentioned that it's in the Russian blogs and all that, and they're talking about somebody, you know, in the Kremlin, and I never said a high person in the Kremlin, but somebody, you know, maybe say like a corporal, somebody with no real rank and no name and nobody's ever heard of. Apparently, you know, that's what I get. But they're doing, I didn't want to use the word sabotage. I don't think I did, but they're against the military operation in Ukraine. And I'm not saying they're an agent. I don't know. I don't think I said that. But apparently the person that was reading my, or watching my vlog or something was thinking that I'm saying that there's people out to kill Putin. I don't really know. I don't understand. But anyhow, I'm not quite sure what that person, I might have given the wrong impression. I don't know. But anyhow, what I'm just saying is, I'll just relay what Prigozhin said and a little bit of what other people are saying. But what happened to him was, everybody knows he was asking for more ammunition. And what happened was somebody cut the line. They cut the line so he can't even talk to the Kremlin at all. And he had to find other means to talk to the Kremlin. And I don't know if that means Putin directly or whatever, because I think they get along, and he's a critical type of guy. And it's not only Prigozhin, but what's that guy's name? The Chechnyan leader guy, Kadyrov. He has said the same thing. And of course, then there are other vloggers, and of course, other people are mentioning this. So this is not something that I made up, and that I'm hearing some people faking it out, because you attach these names like Kadyrov, Prigozhin, and then there's other people talking about it. That there's other people that are working inside, I mean, connected to the Kremlin, that are doing, you know, they're slowing down the military operation. And then I also heard at one point in time that there was like some military commander, and the troops were getting frustrated because they have, in some cases, to where they can do tremendous damage against certain units in Ukraine, and they get to the point where they can do it, and then they're stopped. They're told to stop and not proceed further. And so they get a lot frustrated, and they're saying, well, why, you know, here, we could just defeat this whole unit here, and you're stopping us, you know. And I'm not saying that that is also due to something like some sort of sabotage or anything like that, but it could be, you know, that whoever is in charge, you know, the leadership knows that, say, you're walking into a trap. You know, if you've been like myself, I'll tell you what, in Scott Ritter, he will verify everything I say. I don't even have to talk to Scott Ritter because I know that he's been close to a lot of this stuff. And like myself, I've been to leadership courses and things like that, and what you have to do a lot of the time, it's a hands-on sort of deal, and you have to be the one in charge a lot of the time. And what you do is you're like in command, and you have like a squad. I don't think it was a whole platoon. I think we had like squads, 10 people, and you're supposed to either lead an ambush, or you're supposed to be going somewhere, doing something, and then out of the blue you get ambushed. So what we were doing is just like movements, you know, through forested areas and all that sort of thing, and either ambushing or getting ambushed for the most part. Terrible. I tell you what, we are dead tired. You are really tired, even if you're in great shape, you know, for some odd reason. And when you sit down, I could go into so much stuff and tell you a lot of things that you learn when you're, you know, when you're doing that sort of thing. But anyhow, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of time these commanders, they will stop their troops, and they will not proceed any further because maybe the area that you're going through is a good area to get ambushed, and it's not safe to go through there, you know, things like that. So I'm not going to say that that's the case either. But I don't know if somebody out there, if I maybe didn't quite explain myself right, and you thinking that I'm saying that there's a guy who's supposed to assassinate the leadership or something like that, that I'm alluding at that, you know, ask me a little bit more, and I'll explain myself a little bit better, because I was never saying anything like that, and that I'm buying into some sort of I don't know, conspiracies or something like that. I didn't say that. But I'll tell you what, there are people in every government everywhere that don't agree with that, with the head leadership and all that. And if it goes beyond complaining and they're doing something, you know, even if it's little things, just to make things a little bit harder for the government. And I've seen that before. And trust me, Scott Ritter has seen it before, and you can even find it in his past that he's seen this before. Definitely. So, and I think the person was saying that Andrei Martynov was basically saying, not what I said, but that some of these, that I think it's something coming from the United States and saying that that there's somebody going to overthrow Putin or something in the Kremlin. I'm not saying anything about that. I'm not commenting on that. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. So, you know, so don't think that I'm talking about somebody trying to overthrow Putin. So anyway, that's all I need to be said about that. So I'll do another video probably today. I'll see you in the next one. Hello again, people. I'm back. I'm not sure if I'm going to make this as a second video or attach this to the one I have already done today. This is the 14th of March in 2023, but I'm in Minsk, as you see, and this is where I'm going to be making a lot of my other videos in the future instead of Baranovichi. And I'll just show you right around this area. This is one of the centers of Minsk, and they have, I would say, various centers of Minsk. You know, you can't really say this is a center of Minsk or that is. Maybe there is a geographical center, of course, but as far as finding places, you know, for interesting things to do or sights to see or where most of the people find themselves, you know, this is one of the places in Minsk. And this behind me, for example, is probably the most photographed KFC on Earth. It is a Soviet mural, you know, depicting, you know, the victory in World War II. Very interesting stuff. So a lot of people come here to photograph this. But it's also just a very interesting corner anyway. It's a busy intersection. This is KFC. Right across the street here is another Burger King. I was at a Burger King today already, but there's another one if you can see it. And this bridge right here, if you're looking at, if I'm And I hope you can hear me, because it's kind of loud here. Right now the traffic's not very loud, so you can probably hear me. But this bridge, it collapsed while I was here, because it's been there for many, many decades, and all the vibration from the metro that runs underneath it had caused this bridge to collapse. And the leader of the country, Lukashenko, said to get it repaired as fast as possible, but it was completely collapsed. It was gone. They had to clear all the rubble and rebuild this bridge, and they did it in about 2 months. It was really amazing. And I lived in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and a bridge like this, that would take them at least 2 years to do this, at least, if not much, much longer. So, but they're not so, even though it's a mountainous country, and they should be very good at building bridges, they're not, unfortunately. They're just a little bit behind. It's a developing country, but you see how good they can get things done here. It's incredible. Soviets, former Soviets or countries. Well, I'm going to see if I can make it across this light here now. Busy traffic here. I don't want to end up getting run over by a car. But it is a favorite place, and where I'm going is a bookstore. I love this bookstore because I'll tell you what, there's a lot of even Soviet books there. You have magazines, Soviet magazines, from like maybe the 1980s, and in US money, it's like about 30 cents. 30 cents for a Soviet magazine. So you'll see, I'll probably try to film it. Now here's a very famous old Orthodox church here in Minsk. Okay, moving right along here. Actually, my destination is, like I told you, is a bookstore where the prices are very good. It's used books, and a lot of them, well, virtually all of them are Soviet books, because of the long history of Soviet times. You can get some older books, older than Soviet times, and of course there are books that were published after the Soviet years that are also in that bookstore that are used. And it's one of these buildings right over here. I'm not even positive which one. One of these older buildings. And these are some of the few buildings towards the center of Minsk that actually survived World War II. Now there are buildings in different areas that did survive World War II. It wasn't completely destroyed by Germany. And Minsk, of course, has probably been destroyed many times. Belarus, something that you probably rarely ever hear anywhere, and it's very strange. The people here are very peaceful. Belarusian people are very peaceful people, but yet there has been more destruction from war in Belarus than nearly every country in Europe. If you even go back as far as Lithuania, you can go back. Napoleon devastated the place. The Germans devastated Belarus twice. Lots of devastation. So lots of war, lots of, and it's not really that they were making war, the Belarusians, but they were on the trampling grounds of one power attacking another. Normally somebody was attacked. You know how many times a lot of countries attacked Russia? So it's not that Russia really ever initiated any attacks, at least as far as into the Western Europe. It was always initiated from, say, Germany or Poland or somebody else like that. I'm not saying that Russia has always been the good guys, but it's rarely ever happened that they are the aggressors. Even if you see these politicians now accusing Russia without any grounds whatsoever. This war started, as you know, in 2014, and it was kicked off by Kiev. It was kicked off by Ukraine. They started killing a lot of people back in those days. It was an overthrow. They first overthrew the government. You hear this all over. You can listen to what Scott Ritter and lots of other people have to say about that. But I also want to have a note. As far as politics are concerned, before I even go into this bookstore, I wanted to always say something in my videos, and I'm not really a big scholar about what's going on with Andrew Tate, but Andrew Tate, I find him an amazing person. If you can kind of ignore maybe the language, the nasty words or whatever the heck like that, a colorful language, which I just kind of block out, the guy is absolutely amazing. He is well-spoken. I guess the word is well-spoken. And he can get his opinion out very quickly and very accurately, and he uses evidence to support his views, and it's almost irrefutable. It's not like you can even argue with whatever he has to say. It's sort of in a way, a Jordan Peterson. What I mostly like about Andrew Tate one time, what I heard about when I really started to like him, is he was talking about these COVID mandates. And as you know, I am here mostly because of COVID mandates in the West that I was, for the most part, forced out. I was in a country where the Prime Minister said he's going to get 90% of the people vaccinated, and they were talking about where you had to get vaccinated before you even went into a supermarket. Lots of people lost their jobs. Teachers and healthcare people, transportation people, they were all fired because they weren't vaccinated. And that's going through the courts right now, and you can look up online. It's in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, so you can look that up yourself. And I think now the court had found that it was unconstitutional to fire all these people from their jobs because they weren't vaccinated. A big surprise there, huh? But anyway, Andrew Tate was talking about when he was traveling, like first class or whatever with regular people, and then you have to wear a mask and social distancing and all that. As he said, F that. So he bought his own airplane, and he said everybody that's associated with anything like that in the airports or anywhere, there is no social distancing, there is no mask wearing. And you think about like Governor Newsom or Nancy Pelosi or all those people, they never wore masks. When they're all together having their little get-togethers and parties and stuff, nobody's wearing masks. That's for us. That's for the little people. That's for the little people, is to wear masks, And it's really sickening. And then a lot of us, we lose our jobs and get disenfranchised from this and that and the other thing, but I want to say that. And this is probably, going to be towards the end of this. I'm just going to film now inside of the bookstore and show you some things. I'm sure they'll allow that. I'm probably not going to be doing any talking, but the magazines I'll show you, they're probably like 30 cents US dollars. And then sometimes books, I'll tell you what, sometimes you can get the complete works, which I know this for a fact because we did this already a month ago, found the complete works, of course, in Russian, the complete works of Mark Twain. I don't know how many volumes, 10 volumes or something like that, for like $7 US, not even in bad condition at all. Complete works of Dostoevsky, similar price, $7 or $8 or whatever. Of course, some books cost more and all that, but here, look at this, in a central part of Minsk, getting prices like that, even if it's used books, Everybody gets everything online or whatever like now. But I'll tell you what, I don't trust that stuff. Pretty soon we're all going to be having to pay for everything online. Everybody, making DVDs even obsolete, but they're probably all going to be coming back at some point in time. That's just my opinion. So anyhow, I'm going to put this on pause, and then I'll show you inside the bookstore. Well, mostly all day I've been getting my face up in the camera. Sorry about that. Mostly because of the noise, and I don't have my selfie stick. But I'm at the train station. As if you couldn't tell. I'm taking this train, but not going to Brest. Going to Baranovichi, which is about halfway. I did want to show you the mall. Oh, I can show you. Here. It's a new mall. I don't think anything is in there yet. It's not occupied. Called Minsk. Minsk City Mall. As you can see. And I'm not even sure if the train is open yet. Here's the lady, when you get in, they check your tickets. You know, in the different wagons. I'm heading to car number 2. Look at, there is an old train. Look at that. That's the type of train I came here on, kind of. It's very cheap, as I say. It's like $1.50 or something to go 130 kilometers. But this one is, what is it, about 22 or 23 rubles per person? How much is that? Exchange rate of 2.7. Tell you what, I can't think of that in my head. But anyway, the main reason I turned this camera back on is I forgot to mention that I was talking about Andrew Tate, and I was just trying to ask, you know, anybody out there, any viewers, if anybody knows really what's happening with Andrew Tate, because they arrested him in Romania, and of course, you know, it's kind of fishy business. I won't get into that. Maybe you've already heard about it. But if anybody knows, you know, what is going on with him, I'm not really following all that stuff so much, but it still fascinates me, and it has nothing to do with any really, you know, urgent news. But somebody can write and fill me in on that. So now I'm going to get on the train. I'll show you what it's like inside here. Anyway, a lot of people going on. And I'll see you on the next time I make a video. That's all for today. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.